Hello everyone, this is the 8th video of my web development question series and today I am going to do the 8th video of the first day of web development question series. Okay, let's go to the web development question list. Here's the question list and I'm going to select the 8th question. I already done 7 questions and I submitted 7 videos until now. You can also watch those videos too, and here's the question, and let's see what we have to do in this question today. Your next task is to enter the data into the previously created database using the web page below. Here's imperative to recreate this web page. In this case, all fields must validate and web page should be responsive. We have to create this form. You can see they gave us a sample web design in order to create our sign up page. We have to create a responsive page and use this page to insert the data into the database we created in the previous question. Let's go to the answer. Here's the answer I created. You can see it's called ABC Institute registration form, and here are the fields. You can see when I'm shrinking the screen size of this browser, you can see how my design got changed. This is the medium view, and when I go below the medium screen, you can see the design is changed, and here I used Bootstrap in order to make this website responsive. And you can see these are the fields you need to enter the detail. I used a select tag as the title selector. You can select Mr., Mrs. or Reverend. Like that, you can select the title which suits to you. And here's the first name, last name, and here there are 2 radio buttons to select the gender of the user, and here's the date of birth field. I used input type date for creating this input field. You can only select the date, only input the date in this input field. Here there are 2 contact number fields and email address, password. Then here's the address field. You can enter the number, street 1, street 2 and the city, and here's the control button set. You can press the reset button. When I press the reset button, you can see you saw how the data are reset when I press the reset button. And here's the login button. In this state, I disable this login button, and here's the register button. This is the button you have to press after you entered all the details to this form. That's how I designed the web page, and let's go to the code, HTML code I used to create that site. Let me select the question. Here's the index page of this answer, and here you can see, as I told you, I used a select tag to in order to make the options to select the title of the user, and here there's a input field to store or input first name and last name of the user, and like that you can see there are 2 radio buttons, and I group them in the same name called G in order to group the radio button. Because I grouped that 2 radio buttons, you can only select one at a time, and I think you saw that the mail radio button is checked on the page is load as the default. The mail button is checked. It's because I used checked attribute in the mail radio button field. If the user is a female, she can manually select the female radio button. And here's the date. I used to record the date of birth you can see the input type is date, and there's the contact number 1 and 2, email address, password, and the number address field of the user. And here's the controller button field. You can see the register button and the reset button. I already linked two files, a CSS file in order to enhance the appearance, and the bootstrap file. I use this bootstrap CSS framework in order to make this website responsive. And you can see in the bottom of the file I linked a JavaScript file. This JavaScript going to run the functions in our website. First I'm going to show you the CSS file. Here's the CSS file of my web page. You can see there's only one class I declared in this page, and here's the JavaScript file. In this file I created new variables to store every object, every input field object by calling its ID, the .getElement by ID method. And you can see there's a function called getDetails. This is the function I bind to the register button. You can see in this index file, in the register button, I set the getDetails function in a on-click attribute. It means every time a user press the register button, it's going to run the getDetails function. And inside the getDetails function, you can see I created another new variable list and entered the values of the above objects, the above input elements into those variables. You can see there's a title, there's a variable called title which holds the value of the T field. T field means the title object field, and every time this function is called, it's going to grab the T field variable and extract its value and assign it to the title variable. The first name variable and the last name variable, all of these variables are working as the above title variable. And you can see there's a condition I use to check the radio buttons, whether the user's gender is male or female. I check the radio button input by this condition. It means if the G field means the radio button called the male, if the male radio button is checking, it means the gender of the user is male, and if it's not checking, the gender of the user is female. That's how I declare the gender of the user. And I created a variable called gender and insert the values into that variable. You can see there are other variables for every input field in that form. The DOB field, email address, contact number 1, 2, password, and the address lines. And here's the form object I created in order to put the above values inside a form. You can see I created a new variable called form and assigned a new object, form object, and assign it to the form. It means this variable form is holding the details of the object. And here in the next line, you can see I append the title as to the form object. This data appending method is going to be always as the key value pairs. Like this is the key and this is the value it holds in this form. Like that, I append every input value into the variable called form, which holds the data as a form object. And here's the Ajax object I created in order to transfer this data into the server side as a request without reloading the user's window. The Ajax request is always going to be hidden to the user, and it's going to address and it's going to request the server side without reloading the user page. And here you can see this is the Ajax object, new XML HTTP request, and I assign that object into the new variable called R, and you can see in the r.open part I declared the method I used to transfer the data into the server side. We only can use the post method because the get method is not suitable to transfer this kind of information. There are a lot of informations. We cannot combine to the URL. We have to use the post method every time we are submitting a form to the server side. And here's the destination. And we can also say the target page of the request. This is the page the Ajax request is going to. This is the file the Ajax object is going to address, and here I declared the method, the Ajax or the Sajax method. Okay, that's how the get details function works, and how the Ajax object is working. Now let's go to the process.php page. Process.php file. This is a very important file because this file is the place we do all the validations and inserting the database, searching the database, those processes are going to happen in this process.php file. So this is a very important file. So in order to avoid the misuse of this file, I use this if condition. There's a value comes with the request in post method called t, and it's not going it should not be empty like that. The first name, last name, gender, and the date of birth. So like the rest of the form data should come with the request. If it's not come with the request, then this if condition is not going to execute, and it's only execute this else part. In this else part, there's a statement, echo statement. It's going to output the value form incomplete, please fill every field if one of these fields are empty. That means a user have to fill every field in that form. So if the form is not incomplete, then the codes inside this if condition is going to execute. So you can see there I created a PHP variable called ECQ. I assign a SQL query, actually a SQL search query to that variable, and executed that variable with the DBMS connection. You can see the DBMS connection on the top of this file. I put that as a public variable because it's easy to access this DBMS connection from anywhere in this file, so it should be helpful. So after we execute the query, the search query, every time we execute a search query, there will be a result set. So I assign that result set into another variable called ECR. It means check results. The search query is going to search for the email which comes with the post method as E. If there's a similar or if there's a match in the email field to the value we are entering to the query, that detail is going to store in this ECR variable. And in the next line you can see another variable called ECR NOR. We can say it's check the number of rows of the ECR. It means how many result sets are there in the ECR. So it counts the record and store in ECR NOR variable. After that you can see there's another if condition. This means if the number of rows of the check query, the check results is less than 1, it means there's no record in the email we are searching. In this part there's no email match in the database. It's going to execute this part of the code, and if there's a value or if there's a record under this email address we are submitting, it's going to execute only this echo statement. There's another account under this email address, so it's not going to insert the details with the email address which is already submitted with another account. So if there's no record in the email we are providing, it's going to execute this code. And you can see in here I created variables to every data we appended to the form back in the JavaScript file. You can see there's title, first name, last name, gender, like that. I assigned every value to a new PHP variable and stored in that variable. Then after that you can see this is the part I do my validations in my web page. If only if the this above if and else if conditions are not true, then this else condition is going to execute. This is the part which insert the submitted data into the DBMS query. We should do that part only if the data of the form is not incorrect or not incomplete. So the first condition is empty first name. If the first name is empty, it's going to execute this echo and not going to execute the insert query. It says empty first name, and then if the first name is okay, it's going to check the number of characters of first name and check if it's not go beyond 50 characters. If it's go beyond 50 characters, it's only going to execute this echo statement, first name is too long. Like that it's applied to the last name. And you can see the gender. If the gender equals to female and if it's equal to Mr., it's not a match. So title doesn't match with your gender. You can see I even done my validations to the title selection. And then if the gender equal male and the title equal Miss or Mrs., it's also wrong. So the title doesn't match with your gender, error is going to show again. So in the next line you can see it checks if the date of birth is empty. If it's not empty, if it's empty, it's going to show this echo statement, empty date of birth. Like that I done validations to every field in that form. Especially you can see the mobile number. The mobile number should be submitted with the country code. If there's a number without a country code, it only execute this echo statement, invalid mobile format in contact number. Like that I validate every input field in my form. So That's it in the process.php file. Let's go back to my answer and enter the value into the database and see what happens after I press the register button. I'm going to enter the first name, last name and complete the form. Before I complete the form, I'm going to press the register button once without completing the form. See what happens when I press the register button. You can see there's a alert popping up and it says form incomplete, please fill every field. This alert is showing because we done that validation part in the process.php file and it's not going to execute the insert query if every field is not submitted to that process.php file with the AJAX request. So I'm going to I'm going to complete the other fields. Like that, I completed the form. Now I'm going to press the register button. There are some invalid details like the phone number is there. Let's see if the form is submitted without errors or there should be any error. I'm going to press the register button. When I press the register button, you can see invalid mobile format in contact number. You can see we have to enter, like I told you in the process.php file, we have to enter the country code like this. I'm entering the country code and let's press register and see what happens. You can see there's another error. Password must contain 8 to 12 characters with special characters and upper lower cases. Okay, the password must contain 8 to 12 characters with special characters. You can see it's not, my password is not exceeding 8 characters. I'm going to change the password. Okay, the password should be okay now, and I'm going to show you what happens when I enter an invalid email and press the register button. You can see the application finds out the email is invalid and show the message invalid email address. Okay, I put the valid email address again, and now it's every detail is okay right now. Let's see what happened when I press register button. You can see the message comes with the person registered. It means everything is okay, and you can see the details I enter is reset, automatically reset when I successfully register a person. It's because after the process.php file is complete and the output of that file is submitted, the output is going to display as an alert, and I created another if condition here. After the response is come to the client side, it checks if the ready state is 4, it means the response is come to the client side, and if it's 4, it's going to create a variable called text and put the response text. It means the output of the process.php file will be assigned as a text file to the text variable, and it's going to execute the if condition. If the text equal 1, it means everything is okay, the person is registered, it's going to show the alert person is registered, and it's going to run the another condition, another function called reset field. I created that reset field in here. You can see I resetted every field by inputting the empty values to that field, and it's going to execute after the alert is shown. If it's not equal 1, the text is not equal 1, it means there's an error, or there's an error in the validation. So it's only going to show the alert with the text output of the process.php files. So that's how my application works. Let's see if the data is inputted to the data base. I'm going to reload this database. This is the database called user. We created it in the, this is the database, and this is the table called user. We created this table in the previous question, and I'm going to reload this table, and you can see the tiwanka@gmail.com is inserted into the table with the given details. So that's how my application works, and I think that's it for this video, and thank you very much for watching this video.